Okay, so I hope this works. I'm trying a new setup, so this could go very good or it could go very bad. All right, so that looks like it's working. Sorry, I've got two computers going at the same time. So you can see the lovely decoration behind me that we just did today. Okay, we got a few more minutes left until it is time to start. So I'm just gonna go over some things that are going on for this month. Oops. This month's Inkverse is The Witch's Throne. Okay, good, it is coming up on the right way. The first book is currently checked out, but you can get it on Comics Plus. I gotta fix that. The craft for this month is this really adorable little pom-pom cactus. Go to our Facebook page to... Yes? Okie dokie. So we have pom-pom cactuses. They're like that big. You make them yourself. That'll be the second Saturday of the month. That'll be on the 12th. We have a Teen Craft Day that is the there you go. Now you can see it. Teen Craft like shrinking inks, if you remember those from when we were kids. And on the 15th at 4 o'clock is going to be Guess Who. So now I'm going to share my screen. Hello. Getting ready to start. If you want to take a seat, we're getting ready to start. That was feedback. All right, so that is working. We're gonna get ready for that to start working. Screen. Share my screen. There we go. And we're going to get this going. And that is going to... Okay. So... Hang on, I gotta fix some things. And... Oh. Down here in the corner so I don't have to deal with it. Okay. So today's talk is collaborative storytelling. Doing that because I actually have one started on the classroom in Google. So it's just an exercise. But what is collaborative storytelling? Okay, good, it's still going. The internet keeps going wibbly wobbly all day today. There we go. What is collaborative storytelling? In essence, it's when multiple people come together to write a story or to tell a story. Tell a story. Now there's three ways you're going to see it come up. There's the serial method, the parallel method, and the story world method. They'll make more sense when I explain them. So we'll start with serial. You have person A, person B, and person C. Person A writes, then person B writes, then person C writes. And that's your serial. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, etc. You don't go back and change what other people have done until you're at the end and you're putting everything together. So this is also commonly called round robin style. You'll see it a lot in fan fiction circles. I have done a few. They can go very crazy, very fast. And that's the kind of example we're doing for the online story, the one that we'll have up on our website today. This one, which is the parallel storytelling, is something you're going to see more in script writing. This is when you're going to see on developing TV shows, movies, mostly TV shows, because you'll have what's called the writer room. So you'll have a bunch of writers in the same room with like the generics of what you're going on. There's a story, and then person A puts into the story, but also person B and person C, and it just becomes a whole mini cooks making the soup, which is why sometimes TV shows can be very weird. Sometimes you're even going to be able to tell like if a certain writer wrote a certain thing. For the other thing. Now this one is fun. Story world is kind of think all of the D&D novels. You have Dragonlance, you have the Sword Coast, you have Eberron. Those are just general story worlds that people then write into. It's the same for like, all of the Assassin's Creed books, all the Halo books. You're going to have, like, setting is going to be the same. Your characters are going to be the same. You're going to have the same organizations, but every different person can add or take away from the plot. This is also what fan fiction falls into. Very heavily falls into. The container for the world, the container for the narrative is the world of the narrative versus the story. So this is more comic books. You can have multiple people working on a Superman story, but then that Superman story is going to tie into, say, a Batman story and a Justice League story and maybe a Flash story, and they all come together. This is where you get stuff like Crisis on Infinite Earths, or what was the Marvel equivalent? Well, the whole thing with Genosha recently. That one with the X-Men, but then there were, in the comics, there were ripples out in the other. I'm a comic book nerd. You see it more in Western comics than in manga, because manga is usually one author to a story versus Western comics, which have like IPs with multiple writers working on it. That's why you can get let's see, 5 or 6 different Batmans. Like you have the Batman series from the 90s, which is the best Batman cartoon. I will fight people on this. Batman the Beautiful and the Bold, the Brave and the Bold, the Batman Beyond, whatever the most recent Batman is that I can't remember off the top of my head. But they all have the same, they all take place in the same world, but maybe not the same timeline. So that's by story. That's like story world. Fan fiction is collaborative storytelling. I had to add this because I got my start writing fan fiction. So serial storytelling in that you have, and it's a serial storytelling in that you have that original that's not getting changed. But then you're also going to get a story world type sometimes. My biggest example on that is going to be, let's say you have tropes that in your in whatever, let's say Witcher. Let's say you're writing fan fiction for The Witcher. Well, there's a subcategory of Witcher fan fiction that is called the Warlord fan fiction that was started by Inexplicifix because of the accidental warlord. and people just jumped on that. They write fan fiction for fan fiction with her character, their original characters. They use their original plots. So now there's a whole subset of Witcher fan fiction that is fan fiction of a fan fiction.
Stuff like that before.
Or stuff that gets so common in a fandom. Danny Phantom. That tells you how old I am. Well, not really. Danny Phantom stopped in the early 2000s, and it's still getting tons of fan fiction and fan content done today. Oh yes, it always trends on Tumblr. It always trends on Tumblr. Much to Butch Hartman's hatred. Yeah. Hey, you gave us bare bones and we ran with it, bud. I'm sorry you hate it, but not really. So yeah, there's the Accidental Warlord. Another example is if you're a TikToker and you like TikTok, S&D tier by Lighthouse Raiders. As they have said, everything is canon.
I love stories like that. Everything is technically canon.
Yes, everything is technically canon, unless they say it's not canon, and even then it might still be canon. It's very confusing, but it's very fun. S&D tier are basically like villains. So like there's the S tier, who's like the god class, and there's the D tier, who's like a Scooby-Doo villain.
Oh my god, wait. I saw that before it started getting popular on TikTok.
Yes, same here. I've been following it since it started.
Yeah, I was like I got shocked when it started getting popular on TikTok. I was like, really?
Yeah, people love comic book stories. Yeah. There's a reason why it's a whole subgenre now in just regular books, not just comics. Oh. But there's stuff like Renegades. It's one I can't remember the title. Assistant to the Villain, although that's a little bit more fantasy-ish. Although I want Accomplice to the Villain to be out now so I can finish reading it. It's a trilogy. 2 of them are out. The 3rd one's coming out this year.
Okay, go to that before.
Yeah. It's down in the adult department. It's fun. Ends up becoming, our main character ends up becoming the assistant to the villain. Oh. Hence the title. And there's a whole thing of there's a prophecy and there's magical creatures, and the king is not a very good king, but people think he's a good king because he's in opposition to the villain. The villain does kill people. I will admit that he is a bad guy. He kills people, he tortures people, he robs people. But compared to what the king is trying to do, yeah, he's not the worst.
Not the worst.
No.
He's the worst.
But okay. Yeah, I mentioned that before. Fan fiction of a fan fiction or fan fiction assumption. There is some etiquette when it comes to doing it. Even if you're working with like a collaborative, like let's say someone brought you in to work on, like say the next Superman comic, there are going to be rules for what you can and cannot do, and don't violate those rules, please. There's like certain things, like Superman will always be weak to kryptonite. There are going to be rules that are established in the world that you cannot violate. But go nuts. Mm-hmm. When it comes to like fan fiction and fandom, just make sure that you like say who the person is, who you got like the original from. If you write a fan fiction of, say, I don't know, there's a famous fan fiction person right now. I can't think of any off the top of my head. If you find a random prompt on Tumblr, which is what I find a lot on like TikTok, people will take the stuff from Tumblr and not, like they'll take the Tumblr threads and they won't say who they're from. It's like, don't do that. That's rude.
Yeah.
That's extremely rude. So if you get an inspiration from someone in fandom spaces, make sure to give them a shout out. It's also just a good general idea if you do it for actual writing. If you do it for actual writing and like it ends up becoming like a fan fiction that becomes a book.
Like 50 Shades of Grey.
Like 50 Shades of Grey or Twilight or pretty much any of the I think Mortal Instruments series by Cassandra Clare. was also a fan fiction. Just try not to get mad at people for pointing that out, because they will point it out. They will hunt you down and what stuff that you wrote before, and the internet is forever. If you don't want anything out there, don't put it out there. All right. Now to the next part of collaborative storytelling that is popular right now. Gaming as a collaborative storytelling. Dungeons and Dragons is the one most people think of. Basically, any tabletop RPG, any tabletop role-playing game is going to be collaborative storytelling. You're going to have someone, a game master or a dungeon master, whatever term you're using, who has a story in mind, at least the bare bones of it, and then the players get to go nuts. So everyone is technically working on the story together. The GM or DM is like, I'm going to give you guys some structure to it, otherwise go nuts, because it will happen. And the dice rolls make it even more fun, because then you can try something and completely and utterly fail at something you're supposed to be good at.
Or it could be something that shouldn't be good, but you will amazing at.
Exactly. You can always roll a 20 on something you're very low on. If you play Dungeons and Dragons, it's different in other systems, but I'm most familiar with D&D. But yeah, you are, and that the TTRPG thing covers so many different genres. You have everything from horror with the Call of Cthulhu, and those games you are not winning. It's just a matter of how long you can hold out for, unless you're Old Man Henderson and then you manage to win. Which I'm still not certain if that actually happened or not, but whether it did or not, it'd be fun. Then you have like your sci-fi. There's like Star Wars and Star Trek and Babylon 5. There's Doctor Who. There's, if you can name something, I could probably find a TTRPG for it. You want to be fuzzy animals in the forest? There's one for that.
I thought about that and wanted it so bad.
There's one that's like Watership Down. There's a Warrior Cats. It's like not official, but someone put one together, and that's one of the other things that happens a lot with these. You have people who want to do like a certain like theme, for example, Warrior Cats. So they're going to take whatever TTRPG system they like and throw it in there until they get what they want. I'm just waiting for the day that Disney comes out with a Dungeons and Dragons module.
They haven't?
I don't think so.
That sounds like they've made a lot of things.
Yes, I know. I have one I've put together for like just private use. Any Disney lawyer listening to this, no, I am not telling anyone about it. I am not selling it. I am not giving it away, people. It is for my own personal use.
Say that online and they'd still sue you.
I know. This is being recorded.
Oh.
Yeah. It'll go up on the website eventually. But yeah, they have a like a high school setting for like the villains called Twisted Wonderland. It's coming out with an anime next year.
Oh my gosh, that's on the phone?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, I played a little bit of that. I had to stop playing once. I had to download a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, don't ask me how much money I put into that. I've been playing for 3 years.
I need to get that on my tablet. I can't get it on my phone. Not enough space. I need to get it on my tablet.
Well, right now the Japanese servers have the final part of book 7. So we're waiting for book 8 to start in the Japanese servers. We're in book 7 on the English servers. So yeah, we're not in a happy place. The English servers, we are not in a happy place. I went as one for Halloween 2 years ago, one of the characters.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I went as Azul in the ceremonial robes. I had someone make me a pair of ceremonial robes. All right, what have I covered? Oh, get off of there. All right. All right, if you want to give collaborative storytelling a try outside of the fan fiction preview, there are these wonderful websites. I am going to post them onto the Google Classroom for anyone who's listening. There's foldingstory.com, which is basically a round robin, but you get to choose. So it's like you see someone who might have an interesting like opening, and then you can just go in and add more to it, and it just keeps going and going and going.
I got a question.
Uh-huh.
Wouldn't role playing with other people on that count? Oh, that's like tabletop.
That's like tabletop.
Oh, I just thought of that.
Yep, it's collaborative storytelling. As long as it's more than one person working together on the story, you're gonna come across collaborative storytelling. Of course, I had to mention Tumblr.
Yeah.
That's just the nature of the beast. Let me. I have these as links so I can actually show people. Folding story. Come on, let me go to the thing. So folding story is like, ugh. So anyway, that's how we met and how we've, so anyway, that's how, long story basically. So all these people are just line by line creating a story.
Oh, that looks really fun.
So it's a good way to like get the juices flowing.
I might take a photo of that screen so I can like save any of those like
Yep.
websites that I might not play it all.
Then there's also Etherpad, which it's more of an online editor. So that's like if you have a group and you want to do it and you don't want to use Google Docs, which is understandable. A lot of people don't want to use any Google products right now because it's feeding the AI.
Yeah. Ugh.
But you can download that and you can work together in real time.
Hmm.
Also good for if you're working with someone who's going, like if you're going to do if you're going to make like a comic. I can't show Tumblr because it's blocked on our Wi-Fi here
Really?
because of the ads.
Oh, a lot of weird ads.
Yep. And then there's Storyco.
What's that one?
It is,
Oh, it looks like kind of like webtoon or
yeah,
Peppa's.
kind of. Get on here. There are some of them have co-creates. So you can publish like a story universe and people can expand it.
I'll have to check out that website
So,
as well.
yeah.
And have another, because if it has web comics, then have another web comic to use.
Let me find one that's actually pretty. It's similar to that. But it's also very good for like keeping stuff together. Here we go. Like here's one. I just chose a random one. There we go. They are multimedia. So like
Before the world was, the god and goddess
Is it like an audiobook?
kind of.
bound them together. And as one,
Oh,
they filled the void with their
Oh,
grace,
that's
power.
kind of nice.
They carved from it their
So it's kind of like Tapas, but more audiobookish.
So it's kind of like an online, I assume, more like mature version of those like children books we'd see where they would like read out what's on like the page, and I was like, on the page, on it.
Yep. But it also allows for people to. I gotta find. You can contribute to the stories.
Oh, cute.
So yeah, you can. I haven't seen as much about it as I have the first one. So Storyco is a collaborative storytelling platform that enables creators to build and publish multimedia stories, engage a following, and evolve their stories into expansive universes, leveraging the creative powers and ideas of their community. So it's an invitation to participate, like a co-create is an invitation to participate in the creation of key elements of the stories. For example, from creative writing to illustrating to animating to acting. So like you can work together, you can attempt to get one published because you have to go through an actual like interview process.
Yeah.
But like you can kind of a way you can get people to give you art, can work on getting voices for audio, can get actors, can get people who will help you write, that kind of thing. So it's kind of more of the story world mixed with the like, I call it the TV show, the writing room, TV show writing room example, because you're all working on the project together and you're each adding your own little bits to it. But it does have some really nice stories on there.
What's like it?
So that's that one. And then there's of course Tumblr, where you can go and there are things like writing prompts, daily writing prompts. If you have a fandom that you particularly like, you can find that. There's the ones that are the Tumblr jokes that people keep going on it, such as Arepo, the god of Arepo. The woman who asked a fairy for a child, they came and she raised a child for like 6 months, then the fairies came and replaced it with a changeling. She went back.
Oh, I've been hearing all about that.
She went back and the fairy was like, now you have to find your real child. And she's like, joke's on you, I now have 2 children, and takes them both. So yeah, that was my last slide. So I'm going to actually stop here, because that is going to be all for our online talk today. So we're going to get to the in-person session in just a minute.